Now that we've got a taste for building style components simply, let's do something a little bit more advanced, a little bit more dynamic, and take advantage of what style components has to offer. So we're going to utilize style components to create a paragraph component. Now we have two paragraphs here, and it makes sense for a paragraph to be consistent and to take advantage of building a single component and reuse that instead of building multiple with multiple styles. So as you can see, we have a darker sort of pink and a lighter pink, and we're going to create one component that allows for both. So let's remove the styles from both of these, and we're going to replace this with a style component, and we'll call that paragraph. So we'll go back over here to our style components partial. So that's going to be called style.p for paragraph. And we're going to do color. I believe that was C71585. And margin bottom of 25 pixels. Again, we're just using CSS syntax. We're going to export this paragraph and go back over to our app, pull that out of our styled partial, and replace both of these paragraphs with that component. So right off the bat, we'll see, if I spell it correctly, that we'll have two paragraphs here, and they're both this darker red. Obviously, that's not what we started out with. So the fun thing about style components is that, like React components themselves, we have the ability to define and inherit props. So what I'll do on the second paragraph, since we've set this sort of default color, which was our initial first paragraph, I'll create a prop, call that color, and I'll define the color that we expect this second paragraph to be. Obviously, right out of the box, nothing's going to happen over here. But if we go back to the styled components here, we have access to props in this component just using a normal arrow function. So arrow function props.color, for instance, or we could define our default. So we see here we have an arrow function. We get props, pass props down. We can fetch the color of our props. And then if we don't have that color, we can set the default. So a simple arrow function. And as you can see, we have a lighter pink here, darker pink by default since that's not set. But we can go one step further to clean this up a little bit. Since this is a simple arrow function, we can destructure color out of props in a simple object here. And then we can just call color directly. So same principle, using the same concept here. And so that's a way to sort of become a little bit more dynamic in how we use style components, but also avoids the need to create duplicated style components. It gives us a little bit more flexibility in the long run. So we can really do that with any of these styles we want. We could add a prop for margin, we could add a prop for color, we could add a prop for font size. The options are endless. And that really is dependent on you. But the thing that we've got going on here is we have a function, we're getting our prop color, and we're setting a default here. But we can make this a little bit cleaner by setting a default directly from the style components partial here. So we could do paragraph.defaultProps equals, and this would be an object. We'll define the key of the prop, which is color, and we will add this default prop here. And then we can remove this entirely. So we're only ever getting the color here, but we're setting a default prop, which is still present here. So if we change this to, red, for instance, just to see the change, then we can see this changes here. So that's a little bit cleaner in my opinion. This get only the information we need, and we set any of our defaults here.